The ideas and opinions expressed in the Blackshirt Podcast are not necessarily the ideas and opinions of our sponsors.
We're back!
We are. Here we are. Episode 5?
Episode 5
But technically
of the
like episode-
Podcast.
Technically like episode 105, because we've done this before. But
Yeah, a few
whatever.
times.
It's 5B. 5B.
5B.
5B. You guys can tune in, Blackshirt Podcast. It's on Instagram. We've got it on Facebook.
Do all this stuff. We got to like, share, subscribe, all of that. We have a Blackshirt Podcast fan group now. You can get in. It's a discussion group. You can talk about what you want us to talk about.
Not the racists from the 30s, just to distance
we're not. We're not talking. We're not fascists.
Come on, man.
We're dorks. Okay.
Yeah, just let it ride.
Yeah. So anything you want to talk about that was on the show or should be on the show, go to our fan page and find our group. Join our group and let's talk. So
yeah, there's 20 whole ass people in there right now, and you could be talking about dumb shit left and right, but for profit instead of just because.
Yes.
Yeah, hit it.
Yes, sir. So
how you been? What's been going on?
Man, it's been a crazy week. I've been just doing a bunch of stuff. It's not like the other week where there's nothing going on in the news. You know what I mean? Like the other week we're like, man, there's really nothing happening.
Yeah, it's like Tenant's not happening. That was like the news.
Yeah.
Was that the movie Tenet?
Well, what else?
Happening?
You remember that time when Miley Cyrus and Robin Thicke did the dance, and that was like the big news for the week? There was no news.
I don't really remember that, but I might have like brain-holed it.
She was twerking, and he was wearing like a Beetlejuice suit. Yeah, it was like a Beetlejuice suit. Yeah, that was like 7 years ago. That was the only thing we had to talk about that week. We were like, we know the world is going to a weird place when that's all we have to talk about. We had no idea that this is where the world was going.
I have a theory that the world did end in 2012, and we just like... We were all in like a K-hole and didn't notice, and now this is what we get, is this like ayahuasca trip fucking life every day is just like a whole new fucking acid trip.
It's like a chemical simulation.
Yeah, it's really chemical super freak, actually. It's really bad.
K-hole. Yeah, somebody called me a K-hole on the highway the other day.
I love saying K-hole. It's one of my faves. It sounds real dirty, but it's not. I guess it is. Drugs are bad. So what was the first thing on the list? Because I know we talked about this last week, and this one's gonna be the meat of the first part.
Well, the first thing is, look at this! Hey, we're at Smash Mouth! It's Sturgis!
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
You actually got a video?
Yeah, with no mask on. Concert goers were heard saying, only shooting stars break the mold?
I can't believe they actually played.
This was almost as good as seeing them at Denny's.
So if you guys didn't know, the lineup for Sturgis
Fuck this, man! I came from Buck Cherry!
It was Smash Mouth.
Click, click, boom! Click, click, boom!
Smash Mouth, Saliva, Buck Cherry, 38 Special, Molly Hatchet. It was like the who's who of nobodies. And so it's pretty much all the bands that you thought would play something like this.
Did you say the Who?
No, the Guess Who played. Did you set me up for that? That was a good setup if you did. That was great. Yeah, the Guess Who was also on the lineup. But this was pretty fucking wild because like it's the fucking Hell's Angels. They don't give a shit. They're not gonna do what you tell them. They're gonna do the exact opposite. So it's like, hey, wear a mask, stay home, don't get in contact with anybody. And they were like, fuck that, we're getting Smash Mouth. And
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. And so that was pretty wild. I guess we'll find out if there was some kind of big like outbreak. We'll see if there was some sort of like redneck biker fucking
I don't know.
Resident Evil
Dude,
apocalypse.
I haven't heard anything scandalous that happened at all. That I guess what we're gonna see in the next week or two, if people are like, oh yeah, 100,000 people are sick now or something.
Well, South Dakota's numbers were really low, so I guess this would be kind of. I'm sure there's a pretty big local turnout for Sturgis, because like, what the fuck else are you gonna do in South Dakota?
Yeah, well, I mean,
there's nothing to do. You can see Mount Rushmore.
There was something like they're expecting like 250,000 people. That's what I heard. Like. God, from all over the place. So that's just like it is a huge petri dish now. It's like a really interesting experiment.
Yeah, it's like the litmus test.
Yeah, let's see how this plays
out. Man, okay,
out.
so one time I saw Saliva. I was doing a festival and Saliva was playing, and there was a girl on the Jumbotron with her titties out. And I was like, wow. I was like, you got to be a really shitty band to ruin titties on the Jumbotron. I was like, this isn't even cool. Like, I'm not even stoked on this. And I normally would be like, hell yeah, brother. And it was just like, because Saliva was playing, I was like, I gotta get out of here. I'm fucking getting out of here. Didn't you do something with Buck Cherry? Don't you know Buck?
Dude, I know Buck Cherry and Saliva.
Buckenald Cherryworth the Fourth.
Yeah, we toured with Josh Todd and Riddlin' Kids, and we played these shows, and dun 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 cha-ching. No, we played these weekend college football shows. And
remember those?
Yeah. And it would be like some rivalry. Ohio State versus whoever the Ohio State rival is, because I don't watch football.
Canada.
But, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. So it's not rugby. But yeah, anyway, we do these. We were recording our second record, and on the weekend we would drive like 12 hours to go play at some place. And Josh Todd was playing also. And they sat us down. They put us in this little tent. We're like, hey guys, we wanted to talk to you real quick. This is a family thing, and the suits upstairs want to make sure. I mean, we're trying to sell our new video game phones. What are those called?
The N-Gage.
N-Gage. It was the N-Gage. Yeah. I should have remembered that.
It was spelled G-A-G-E, like me, which is hilarious.
And so they're like, we're doing this thing. They had these tents. It looked like mini Warp Tour in front of the dome that we were playing at or whatever.
R.I.P.
Yeah, and yes. And so anyway, so they tell Josh, or they tell all of us, we can't have you guys cussing, no cussing, just play it cool, and we're like, yeah, no problem. We're used to that.
Yeah,
we had a bunch of 16-year-old kids coming to our shows. We kept it clean. We told a couple of dick and fart jokes, but we kept it clean.
Yeah.
So like, hey, no problem, understand, heard, done. And so we get out there, and Josh Todd's band is playing.
Not Buck Cherry, but
not Buck Cherry.
Solo
Josh
project.
Todd's solo project, and they get started. And you know how you walk out and you go, bang, what's up, everybody? We're the Riddlin' Kids. Boom, 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 bang. And then,
are you ready for some motherfucking rock?
You start the show. Well, we walk out there to watch Josh Todd play, because we'd been in the same room, tent 3 minutes before. We walk out there, and they're like, okay, here we go. And they're like, boom, and he's like, what's up, motherfuckers? And I was like,
3 minutes before he had been said, this is a
yeah, I could not. I don't know. I don't know if he can't control himself, or if he was like, F those guys. Nobody tells Josh Todd how to act in his show.
I'm punk as fuck.
Yeah.
You're not telling me
I don't know what
to
happened.
Do. I'm the dude from Buck Cherry. You don't tell me what
Yes.
the fuck to do. Wow.
Yeah, it was one of the funniest things that I've seen in a live show.
It would probably be really great to have him as just a casual acquaintance, where you're at a party and he shows up and you're just he just fucking I don't know. He just fucking walks in the room. He's got a feather boa on.
He was super cool. He's just
sure.
he's like, I'm just not gonna let a couple of suits tell me what I can and can't say. Period. And that's punk rock, dude.
What was their first single? What you were telling me that they had a single before?
I love the cocaine. I love the cocaine.
So he's basically the Roxo the cocaine clown from Metalocalypse.
Yeah, exactly.
As a real person.
And then
yeah.
And then yo crazy bitch.
I can't believe that's a real song, man. It hurts my soul.
And then
you fucking nailed that.
Yeah, and then
God, I hate it. I hate it so much.
Speaking of cocaine,
Saliva guy.
Yeah, Saliva, who also played at this thing.
And also sucks. Opinion.
Josh Todd's cool, man.
Sure.
Now the Saliva guys.
Man sucks.
I met them. I met at least Josie, the singer. I met him at Ardent Studios. I don't even know if I should tell the story, but anyway, I'm gonna.
What are you gonna do? What's gonna happen? What are they gonna do to me?
So I met those guys in a recording studio. They had some. I don't know if it was the Daredevil. I don't think it was the Daredevil song that they had, or some
Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2.
Hey,
yeah, maybe that, or it might have been the Daredevil soundtrack. I don't remember.
Either one.
The Ben Affleck.
Spider-Man 2 soundtrack off chain.
Yeah.
I mean, real. It's a great soundtrack.
Well, they had a song that they did, and I think our producer that produced our record mixed to that song. So they were in there to check out this mix, and we just stopped by because we were visiting. We were passing through, so we just stopped to see our buddy.
As you do.
Yeah, and so he says, hey man, come check this out. So
now give me a little more.
Hey man, that's how Paul talks. Hey man, I'm serious.
That's what I want.
That's how Paul talks.
That's what I want.
I'm serious. I'm serious.
Hey man, I'm serious. Come check out my goddamn band, man. Come on, check it out.
So we go in there and we check out the song.
We're gonna get hate mail from Saliva and
Whatever,
Buck Cherry
dude. What are they
fans.
gonna do?
So. I fucking hope so.
I'm like, I saw him later at the 930 Club in DC, and
I
he
love
was like,
930. They make you the cupcakes.
I don't remember that part.
They didn't make you cupcakes.
I mean, I don't remember.
Oh, yeah, we got cupcakes.
That was the first place I ever saw a snowflake. I don't mean somebody who's easily wounded. I mean emotionally. I mean an actual snowflake in the air. And the bouncers thought I was crazy because I was like, look, a snowflake.
I'm from Texas.
Yeah, they were like,
one of these.
Look at this dumbass. But anyway, long story short, I saw him there. He acted like he barely knew me. But then I was in New York City, and I was just at some club. We were walking around a night off or something, and I bump into Josie, the singer for Saliva. And I go, hey, man, I go up, how's it going, man? It's Clint. I met you at Ardent with Paul. You produced our record, mixed your song, or what? And you know, that's when you usually say, oh, hey, or
what's up, man?
Or you pretend like you know who the person is, and you're like, hey, good to see you, man. I'm sorry, man. I gotta.
My mom calling me,
but
I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, no, that's not what happened. I go, hey, man, what's up? Met you the other day, and he's like, do you know where I can get some cocaine?
Right out of the gate.
Right out of the gate. I'm like, really? Like,
Damn.
not even a hey? Not even a, no, I don't remember you. Sorry, bro.
I mean, I guess sometimes, like, you know, when you're really on the blow hunt, it's like a familiar face.
And I don't know if he's still doing that.
I mean, not to dog you, but you look like you might know where you get.
I look, just because I have huge nostrils.
Yeah.
I have huge nostrils. I couldn't afford to fill these things with cocaine. I have huge nostrils. But yeah, and again, I hope the dude's doing great now. At the time, he must have been having a hard time because,
it takes a special band to ruin titties on the Jumbotron. I'm just gonna say that one more again.
I'm just saying when you don't even, hey man, how's it going? Hey, do you buy? It was just like.
So basically,
he just went straight to it.
You know what he would like? Sidebar. You guys ever heard of that place? Because that sounds like that's his kind of jam. Because I've heard that exact same thing at Sidebar, and I'm nobody. I'm like Craig Smith, and they're just like, "Hey, bud, you know where to get some blow?" And I'm like, "No, I don't. I'm sorry. Have you checked Sidebar?" And they're like, "That's where we're at." And I'm like, "Well, if you can't find it there, you're not finding it. I'm sorry." In unrelated news, there's a Dr. Pepper shortage in America.
Oh, yeah.
And I would love to say that those two things are unrelated, but if I were a Tibetan man, I would bet that the giant gathering of rednecks in South Dakota has something to do with the Dr. Pepper crisis that we're currently facing. So Dr. Pepper currently, there's a shortage. I'm sure there's no shortage of Dr. B.
They say that if there's a lot of Jackal CDs in the same area, there's not many Dr. Peppers.
Jesus, I forgot Jackal played that.
Jackal, did they?
Jackal's on that lineup.
Yes,
that lineup,
they should be.
Surprisingly good for like a shitty lineup.
Who else was on it? I don't
Smash Mouth, Jackal, fucking Saliva, Bone Thugs, and Harmony. On that.
I met one of those guys on an airplane. He was cool.
Quiet Riot.
Yeah.
I think they're the ones at Mental Health. Mental Health will drive you mad.
Quiet Riot's dope.
Yeah, Quiet Riot. So you're like, if you're looking at like
Lit, my buddies Lit. I love Lit. Lit are my good buddies.
I think I had a weird experience with Lit in a Vegas hotel one time, where we played.
There's a lot of people who've probably said that sentence.
True, but I was with my buddies back in the old before times, with the Skylit Drive, and there was some sort of fucking like, they're on Interscope, I think, or they were subsidiary or some shit. So some big fancy fucking label paid for us to stay in a big fancy hotel in Vegas. We stayed at the top floor of the Palm, which was called the Erotic Suite. And
did it have a heart-shaped vibrating bed?
No, but it had a heart-shaped bathtub. And so
because that's what you want.
We were like, they had signed an insurance policy for the room that was like $25,000 insurance, and so Lit shows up and is like, let's fucking smash this bitch. And so we started fucking destroying shit, and we got kicked out of the hotel and had to wind up like sleeping in the RV anyway. But they like ripped all the pillows apart, and there were feathers everywhere, and there was like the dude from Lit obviously has some like big tittied fucking blonde like crazy women around, and there's all kinds of
I don't know, dude. It was actually pretty laid back when I toured with them.
Yeah, it wasn't as lit.
It was it was pretty chill. Like we just had a few beers and hung out. It's like I think this was like by the time
I accidentally peed on a girl in a stairwell on that same night. So that was a interesting.
By the time we toured with them, it was like 2004 or 5, and it was just kind of
like right around the same time.
Oh, well, who knows? I don't know.
You might have just got the off night. Yeah, that's what you got. You got like the tame version.
I get like all these bands that I loved, and then I tour with them, and then like it would be like, hey man, you want to come watch Sopranos on our bus? That's cool.
Yeah, that's my
and that's pretty much the like, oh,
Blackshirt Podcast. Check it out, Nate. Sorry, my homie's jamming me up. Yeah, no, most of my tour experience, like, they were like, what did you guys do? It was like, yeah, we watched fucking 6 Feet Under on DVD for like fucking 40 nights in a row. But the Dr. Pepper thing, it's like, is that a publicity stunt? Is that like real? Is there going to be?
No, I think maybe.
Because like 9mm bullets are off the shelf right now, and you never would have thought in a million years that you'd see a day where there's no 9mm on the shelf. If Dr. Pepper comes off the shelf in Texas, it's gonna be way bad. You think there's already?
Dude, we have our own the what's the factor?
The Dublin Dr. Pepper.
Dublin,
factor?
yeah. We'll just crank those out.
Yeah. Speaking of publicity stunts, Steve-O currently. I don't know if you can link this. Do you have a clip?
Yes, Steve-O. Boom.
Steve-O has taped himself to a billboard.
That's right.
I don't know. I guess he's kind of been. He's been up there most of the day. I think he's down by now.
Let's get a close up.
I wish I knew him personally so I could ask him like, hey, how long have you been up there? I know he taped it in front of a live studio audience, but
get it?
Taped in front of the live because he taped himself to a billboard. Haha. So he's got there you go, that's great. So he's got some new special coming out called Nar or some shit. I don't know. He's getting some special coming out.
Nar?
I don't know. So his promo stunt for this was to tape himself to a billboard, which is pretty sweet.
I met Wee Man in the Warped Tour bathroom.
You're fucking lying to me.
No, I swear to God.
Dude, I had the same thing happen to me. I was like waiting in line for a fucking porta potty, and I was looking up at a person waiting to come out, and when the door opened, it was a small person.
I wonder if Wee Man just hangs out in the Warped Tour bathrooms.
I mean, if you really know.
I mean, he's not a congressman.
Shit be popping off in those Warped Tour bathrooms. I mean, I'm just saying, as somebody who's been there. It's not a bad place to look for a party.
It's not like an airport bathroom.
No, it's not.
Where you put your foot under the stall.
Oh, shit. Who's the
I don't remember.
There was a congressman.
I think there's a lot of congritten that have done that pulled that move.
Yeah, I've been watching House of Cards lately. It could be anybody. All I can see is the word breast milk written upside down on a piece of paper.
Speaking of airport bathrooms,
breast milk.
You got milk?
Jesus
Boom.
fucking Christ.
Men are drinking human breast milk to get ripped and fight cancer. But is it safe?
I really wish that we had the Dave Chappelle, I only drink the finest breast milks. I wish we had that clip because, yeah, this is real. People are actually drinking adult humans are drinking child milk from breasts.
Yeah. Now the question is, are they drinking it straight from the source or are they drinking it from a glass?
No, they have to hike 40 miles uptown to a Thai hooker and get it, just like in the Dave Chappelle sketch. Yeah, that's crazy to me.
That's some baloney.
Breast milk.
Mm-mm.
What is?
Because it's got all the vitamins that a human being would need.
No, it has all the vitamins that a small human baby.
How could a cow or a goat?
Cambodian. He's got me. Go ahead. Cambodian breast milk, not Thai. Sorry,
gotcha.
Racist. Canceled.
Yep. I wish I had my canceled sound effect. I don't have that in.
Yeah,
we're gonna have that for next week, guys.
Yeah, we had to get that for ourselves because obviously that's how this be going.
Yeah, but a human being is not gonna get the real nourishment they need from that. But if you get some human breast milk that is like separated and it's like clear on the bottom and it's got a frothy top and it's like it's in layers.
Sounds so bad.
Looks like a zit that.
How do you get breast milk? That's what I want to know. Like, how do you get it? Do you have to like know a guy? Is it like drugs where you have to like call someone? Do you go to Sidebar?
I think you have to know a gal.
You go to Sidebar and say, "Hey, anybody know where I can get some Cambodian breast milk?" Just in case you didn't know, Sidebar is where you go to get blow in this fucking town, and it's a running gag. That's the truth. I'm gonna get fucking railed for that because they're gonna be like, "We saw you here. We know you said what you said, ma'am." And I'm gonna be like, "Fuck you! Shouldn't have been in the blow haven of."
I think there's gonna be a game at telephone, and I'm gonna run into Josie from Saliva one day.
Oh,
and
you're gonna
he's gonna be like,
fight.
"Dude, what the hell? I heard you. Someone told me that I like to drink breast milk.
What's fucking gay ass podcast, man?"
That's what he'll say.
That's really fucking funny.
Well, speaking of redneck accents,
jeez, segue. It's a good one.
I guess we got to do some
little clipage, little clip art,
movies and TV.
Yeah,
movies and TV.
Really been skimping on this topic lately, and it's not our fault because there's just no goddamn media coming out. Jimmy Chicken Wing, what's up, Bubba? How you doing? Yeah, there's such a shortage of media, but I did watch Tiger King. That was one of the highlights of the quarantine.
Absolutely.
That was back in the good old days of the fucking lockdown when we were all optimistic and everybody was feeling good about it. And we're like, if we're here by Labor Day, we're going to be, or what was it, Memorial Day? Memorial Day, it'll be done, man. We're going to be done with it. And so that was when life was tight and everybody was still feeling really good about this. We were all just getting our fat fucking government checks.
Yeah.
And so Tiger King, we all watched that, obviously. And Carole goddamn Baskin.
Yeah, boom, we'll put her on the screen.
She's the subject of discussion here because her fucking husband disappeared. In the middle of all this, didn't she have a husband get eaten by, like, she already had another husband disappear, right?
This thing you sent me says, Tiger King star Carole Baskin's missing husband's family, that's a mouthful, file lawsuit.
So they filed official fucking charges on this lady.
Thank you, Alternative Press News.
Who said some crazy shit in the movie, in the show, where she was like, you couldn't just like make a tiger eat a person, you'd have to like cover them in sardine oil. And it's like, that's an oddly specific.
Trust me, I know.
Very, very specific thing to say when you're talking about maybe murder and a cover up. So, Tiger King's crazy. Home dude's in jail.
Plus, sardine oil is enriched in omega-3s, which is really good for your tigers.
Everybody knows that you need those omega-3s. But yeah, like there was always like that like mystery surrounding her first husband, where he just like vanished, and then like she got all the money, and then she also got like the tiger farm, and then she runs the fucking star of the show. What's his name? Redneck dude.
I can't even think of him.
Super
right now.
redneck guy.
Yeah, I can't think of him. Only because you asked me.
Yeah, well, Big Gay Al, he loses his tiger farm and goes to jail, and she gets it, and that's crazy, right? That she has some rivalry with him, gets him put in jail because he put a murder charge. He put like a hit out on her. Like, what a crazy story this is.
It's a crazy story. I watched it straight through. I paused to get snacks, and I watched it all the way through, and I said, man, I'm not a better person after having watched
that one
this.
girl gets her fucking arm lunched off and then like goes back to work like 4 days later. She gets her arm eaten.
The one that really bothered me was the other guy with the long ponytail that had like a harem like living with him, and it was just
the
like
Britney Spears guy.
And he got all the people that worked for him, all the late that worked
to get like breast implants and stuff.
He paid for everything. Like, I never thought about doing that, but it just got paid for.
He's like a cult leader.
That's what.
Well,
it was.
so
Like
then that leads into this conspiracy. I don't know if you've heard about this with Britney Spears.
He was like the David Koresh of zookeepers. Go ahead.
Everybody's saying that Night at the Zoo too. Everybody's saying that Britney Spears has been like secretly sex trafficked.
Sex trafficked?
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
I've never heard
like she's being like held against her will.
There's a Free Britney campaign where people like when she had a breakdown, shaved her head and all that. They got to, I don't know what the proper term is, but it's like they got control of her money. It's not power of attorney, but maybe it is.
It is,
but yeah, they got control, and her dad controls her stuff. And
the conspiracy that I've seen is that she's like a dancing monkey, like she's not allowed to like.
That's the deal. Her dad has control. She can't, if she goes without asking permission to go to In-N-Out Burger with her boyfriend or whatever, then like she gets in trouble, or things like the credit card gets cut off before she gets there or whatever.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say Free Britney, y'all.
I'm with her. Free Britney.
I don't know.
I don't know the exact details, but
y'all know I don't jive with that bullshit.
Yeah.
Free Britney.
Freedom.
Dog. Free fucking Britney. Sweet. So what are we talking? What else we got? Crazy.
We got the new Mutants.
Oh yeah, that's coming out. New Mutants is the new X-Men movie.
August 28th comes out. It's a horror movie, Marvel movie, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I
and
think.
the trailer looks pretty spooky. Like it kind of has like a Frighteners vibe. It's real like it's not your like action movie like fucking. It is, I guess, but it's not. It's got the girl that played Arya Stark from Game of Thrones.
Yep.
She's Wolfsbane, I think, which is a weird. The lineup for this movie is real fucking weird. Like, of all the New Mutants that you could have picked, they picked like a weird group, and they gave Lockheed to Magic, which is weird because Lockheed is Kitty Pryde's like friend. That's like her little special pal. So it's Wolfsbane, Lockheed. I know Sunspot's in there, Magic, and Cannonball, which Cannonball is actually a cool one. Sam Guthrie. But it's just a strange. It's weird because I guess they're just like they're out of licensing stuff. That's what it feels like. Where they're like, who have we got? And you're like, Cannonball. Let's put him in there, and Magic and Wolfsbane, and you're like, okay, cool, all right, sweet. So that's who's in the movie. But it's got some star power. It's got the guy from Nightmare on Elm Street, lookalike. What's his name? The guy that plays Sam Guthrie. It's got him and the girl from Game of Thrones, Arya Stark.
Yeah.
And August 28th, I mean, it's the last Fox. I think it's the last Fox Marvel thing. I think it's like there because of the licensing.
You know what's good about it is it doesn't matter if it completely sucks. It's gonna be freaking awesome.
That's
because
true.
everything. It's like it's better than all the stuff we've seen
movie.
on. Yeah, it's better than Netflix stuff.
It is a film that's coming out.
They're like, we got a movie.
And
cool.
in these trying times, we've gotten.
That's why you have like
2 movies.
That's why you have stuff like the Old Guard, breaking records, like the top viewed movie on Netflix of all time. One of the top viewed. It's like up.
It's just because it was new.
Because there's nothing good.
Nothing
yeah.
else.
And I mean that one was solid too. If you haven't seen it, the Old Guard was cool. Charlize Theron.
Yeah, I think we talked about that.
We talked about it last time, but
I liked it a lot. Charlize Theron, she's got that short hair vibe that's popping, and I really like that.
I like that too. I like the Eon Flux. I like goth chicks with dyed black hair with Eon Flux haircuts.
And the eyes that do this. Remember that from the Eon Flux cartoon? That always used to freak me out. She had a fly that would like walk across her eyeball, and she would like lick it off of her eye. It would always sketch me the fuck out.
I used to watch those they used to do little shorts on MTV way back in the day. Back in the
I remember.
Los 90s.
Los 90s.
Yeah.
That wild fucking wasteland that was the 90s.
Well, speaking of reboots.
Gritty ones. I want a gritty reboot. And I want it grittier than the mascot of the Philadelphia Flyers.
Speaking of Philadelphia.
Boom.
Speaking of the king.
Damn, I didn't even
segues.
realize.
Yes.
I didn't even fucking bang.
Boom.
Damn.
Well, that's the wrong one.
Boom. That's what we meant.
Oh, we don't have a shot for that.
No shot for that one.
Yeah, it's
they're doing a gritty reboot. So a long time ago, last year I think there was a gritty reboot trailer that was like a fake thing. It was one of those kind of like it's very similar to the Mortal Kombat things, where like the Mortal Kombat trailer was really just Michael Jai White like fucking around, and he made like a Mortal Kombat Legacy trailer, and then somebody from Machinima was like, "This looks fucking dope. Like, let's really make it," and that wound up spawning. I think it's 3 seasons of Mortal Kombat Legacy, which is bad the fuck ass if you've never seen it. It makes Mortal Kombat like infinitely cooler. But similar concept, this dude created a gritty trailer for a reboot of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And it's like I've cracked Clint up.
I can't handle it. It's too much.
I've got the only reason you're safe is because your Uncle Phil intervened.
Dude, I couldn't handle it. I was like, it's really serious, dramatic
very
acting.
serious.
It's going to be really good. But there's a
cognitive dissonance that
there's
comes
gonna
with
be
knowing.
There's going to be a learning curve for your brain,
Uh-huh.
especially for people that are my age. People that are younger that maybe didn't watch a lot of Fresh Prince will probably have no problem, and they're going to be like, this is great, because it looks like it's really well acted, well directed. It looks like a really dramatic performance. But when it's like...
Which Fresh Prince itself did have some like dramatic storylines.
For sure, and they had
like that scene where he's like, why didn't my dad want me? When he finds out that his dad like didn't want him. And
dude,
then, like,
Fresh Prince is quality TV.
Super quality TV.
Super.
All of it
Did you see the one where Uncle Phil went to go confront the police officers who pulled over?
Yeah. I remember that episode because Carlton and Will get pulled over, and it's like really, it's really like.
It's a similar thing.
It rings true with stuff that we've got going on today, where it's like it showcases the inequality with interactions with police and black people, obviously. And so Uncle Phil, though, is a black judge, and he's like, fuck that. And he goes and gets ignorant on these fucking cops that pulled over his fucking nephews. And it's a really great episode. There's some heavy shit in that. There's also, don't they get lost in the woods one time? And that's also really crazy. Like, they almost starve to death.
Well, dude, when you're watching this and they're being really dramatic, they're like, that's it. I can't risk your life anymore. I can't do anything to change you. You're going to have to go. The only one who can help you is your Uncle Phil. But it's real serious.
You're moving to Bel-Air.
Yeah. So I'm like trying to be like, okay. And then they're like, you're moving to Bel-Air. And then I'm like,
There's a part, too, where he's like arguing with Carlton. Carlton's like, Philadelphia, right? Born and raised? And you're like...
Yeah,
like all the little callbacks are really hard to take seriously.
It's gonna be it's gonna be good. I could tell already.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, this movie's gonna be badass.
And Will Smith's even come out and said like, this looks fucking dope, and he's endorsing it. And he's that means he's probably gonna throw some money at it, which is cool because it'll get some production value, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's just kind of weird. I think it's gonna take like 20 minutes into the movie for your brain to get used to it.
Supposedly HBO Max is going to pitch it, which is, again, they're just really setting the bar for, like, brain-holing shit that's already happened. They're doing Snyder Cut, obviously.
Yeah.
And then they're going to redo The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in, like, a dark, gritty tone, which is really cool. But, yeah, they're really setting the bar for, like, what is it? Undoing history. Like, just like, yeah, that didn't happen. We're going to do it this way.
Yeah, speaking of, we're going to talk about the Lucas cut in a minute. Speaking of undoing that, this week I saw that somebody tried to or threatened to cancel Gina Carano from The Mandalorian. Yeah, she's a shock trooper. She's awesome. She's a USC fighter, and she posted an anti-Nazi photo. Pretty much a photo that just shows that love will triumph.
Right. I think I know which picture you're talking about. It's like the picture of like all the Nazis doing the Nazi shit, and then one guy being like, "Fuck that."
Yes, because he fell in love with
yeah, which is like a famous picture too. Yeah. Like it's not like
so she was doing that, and somebody went over and was like, "That's racist," and then she's like, "No, it's not racist." And then I'm paraphrasing, but they pretty much said, "Well, you're gonna need to
do 10 Hail Marys or fuck you." Basically.
Yeah, and so she just said no, and you're bullies, and the fans all backed her up and stuff. But it just really bummed me out because I don't like people ganging up on Gina Carano because she's badass.
She's really great.
She's awesome and
super hot. Too.
I also think with all the current events and things that are happening, I think it's really easy for some 12-year-old or 13-year-old jackass in their basement, keyboard warrior person, to do something in the name of some organization that they're not even probably a part of, and then call people out for things and accuse people. It's like everybody in the media right now, everybody's getting accused of certain things and getting canceled for stuff.
Not me, baby. I'm somehow still over here.
You own it. You're like, yeah, I said it, but no, it bums me out. It's like, because I look at her, like I've watched her on the behind the scenes of The Mandalorian. I forgot what that show's called, but it's really good, and there's a lot of roundtable discussions with the actors and directors and effects people.
Yeah,
and
it
stuff.
always fucking sucks when you see people that are genuinely like pretty good.
You could tell she's solid, dude.
Yeah.
She is good. Like you could just tell.
She doesn't have that Weinstein face.
And for some jackass to like call her out and to call her out, I was like, dude, that sucks. And then they're like, if you don't pledge allegiance to what I'm talking about and submit to whatever I say, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna cancel you. I'm gonna cancel your show.
Take action.
Season 2 of Mandalorian. No, but you, dude. Little guy in your basement, you're not canceling season 2 of Mandalorian. It would take
an act of fucking Congress to cancel season 2 of Mandalorian. It's the only thing we have to look forward to. It's literally the like thread that society is hanging on by, is that Mandalorian season 2 was done before all of the coronavirus shit happened, and that's gonna come out.
Yeah,
and thank God for it, because what would we do?
So the short version is I'm just saying, Gina, from all of us at the Blackshirt,
solidarity with you.
All of us at the Blackshirt Podcast support you and love what you do.
All 2 of us.
And you're a badass fighter, and I've seen you in several movies. I just want you to know you're killing it with the acting.
Call me.
Yes, that too. You killed it in Mandalorian, and we can't wait to see you on the next season. So
you're really great.
Yes, let's move forward.
Was this Lucas? We going
Lucas. This is where we're gonna bring back a segment
we used to do on the old show.
It's called Who Would Win?
And in this particular instance, we're going a little meta with it. So we're going in the battle of the K-holes, which is Zack Snyder versus George Lucas in the battle of the director's cut death match. Who do you think would win in a, I don't know, I guess it would be like an edit off, like a
cut off.
A cut off. Should it be a knife fight? I don't know exactly how it would work. But in this particular instance, we're talking about how obviously we've all heard about the Snyder Cut, HBO re-releasing a movie that already happened as a 6-part miniseries with dramatic changes.
It's going to be like 4 hours, dude.
I know, man. It's gonna be fucking
dope,
bonkers that you could do that. Imagine all the stuff that they could have done this with that they didn't. That it was just like, you can't do that. Sorry, fuck you, Firefly. Oh, you can't do that.
Firefly
Sorry.
is the one that should have been done.
Yeah,
That's the one that the fans have wanted.
Yeah, we've been screaming, and it's ironic as fuck that it's Joss Whedon that made the actual cut of Justice League that made it out, and now he, of all people, is getting mulliganed into letting this prick that stopped making the movie. He gets to come back. He gets to do his, and he's allowed.
Prick.
I mean, I love Snyder, but I'm sure Joss Whedon's like, fuck that guy. Like, obviously.
Oh, you're speaking from his perspective.
Right, yeah. Because he's like, I've been trying to get Firefly back on the air with like crowdfunding and like wizardry. Hey, Edward, we love you.
Dude, I watched an interview with Snyder, and like, I don't know, that guy, I think he's gonna do a good job on it. They were talking about having a Kryptonian healing suit, like the black Superman suit.
Oh yeah, with the silver.
They're gonna do that.
In the Snyder cut?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That they wanted to do that in the
supposedly Green Lantern's in there and
cool. The executives didn't want the black suit, and he wanted it. And the black
like,
shirt,
it's not iconic enough.
Yeah, they didn't want that. And it's funny. I saw this in a video last night. It was filmed really bright compared to other things, and they're like, "What? Why did you do that?" And it's because he was gonna darken the suit in post and get it darker because he wanted he wanted his visual that he wanted. And it's like, okay, because they send the dailies out every day, and so I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I think it's gonna be great. I can't wait. Like,
well, that's what I was getting at with this whole like mulligan situation, is that it can't not be great. If you could go back in time and redo
5 years later,
right, and redo something that you did before in life, this is like the plot of its own movie, which is like, it could literally, what is it? If you had one moment and you could go back and do it again, would you go for it or just let it slip? You know, it's like, I feel like there's no way to do it wrong. Like, if you fuck it up now, you sucked all along, because you have not only hindsight, which is 2020, but you also have $30 million in HBO.
Yeah.
Funding this mulligan that you're doing, which is just like a do-over for a movie that came out 4 years ago. Like, that's crazy. It can't be wrong. It can't be bad.
No, it's going to be good.
It cannot. And
then the Lucas cut, that's the secret cut nobody knew about, because George Lucas,
what's her name, knew about it? Kathleen Kennedy's bitch ass knew about it.
They call him, he's on call for life. They don't have to use what he does, but he has to show up, because that's what $4 billion does when
he's set to consult on any Star Wars project that Disney does for the rest of his life. So if they do anything that says the word Star Wars, he has to show up and consult, and they don't have to credit him, they don't have to pay him. They don't have to do anything. They can just call him up in the dead of night and be like, "Hey, George, get the fuck down here. We're talking about doing a CW Star Wars TV show." And he'll be like, "God fucking damn it. I'll be right there.
Can I just give the $4 billion back?
Can I just go fuck myself instead? I'd rather die than watch you like murder my fucking intellectual property." But then again, I guess he's already watched that happen like 6 times in his life. He's watched people just rape his property into the ground. So whatever. What were you saying?
I don't know. I just started listening to it. I was like, yeah, it's true, but it's interesting. So he made this cut, and it had a couple of things in it from what I've heard.
Like 40 minutes.
Yeah, from what I heard, spoiler alert, it's supposed to be, and this is rumors, leaked stuff that I've heard.
Can't spoil something that nobody likes.
That isn't real.
I liked it. Everybody else hated it.
I loved it.
I thought it was great.
Dude, I'm
not stoked on the fact that it's the Emperor, and I really think they should have done what Rian Johnson set out to do, which was like ruin the franchise on purpose. Because that was his vision, was to say like, hey, we've been doing this for 40 years. It's time to change. And sometimes change is hard. And sometimes change is painful. And I'm going to take everything you ever loved and I'm going to ruin it in this movie. And I'm doing that for you. So that the next movie, when we do all the stuff that is going to be cool and awesome,
it'll be appreciated.
It'll be appreciated because I have killed this preconceived notion that you have of what Star Wars should be.
They should have just Game of Thrones the whole thing. Just killed everyone.
Well, so that was really what Rian Johnson was doing. Was if you watch the second of the new Star Wars movies, you see him do it multiple times. when Luke gets in the Millennium Falcon and he starts touching shit, and you're like, oh, this is it. This is where he gets back in, and he's gonna grab his lightsaber and he's gonna go help everybody fight the fucking Empire again, and we're gonna get the same old Star Wars story that we've always got. And he goes, nope. Or when Rey hands the lightsaber to him and he fucking throws it off the cliff.
Yeah.
Like, that's all on purpose. He's not an idiot. He made Looper. Like, he made some movies that are cerebral.
Yeah.
And he knew that that was what you wanted. You wanted Rey to hand Luke the lightsaber, and you wanted Luke to spark it up and be like, okay, I'll train you. And he knew that that was what you expected, and so he did the opposite thing, which was have Luke throw it off a fucking cliff and drink some titty milk. Which, that was another thing. Everybody was like, we don't understand why he's doing this. Like, he's Luke Skywalker. And it's like, have y'all not seen what Yoda did? Yoda, Obi-Wan, they all do the same thing.
Yeah.
They go hermit themselves on a planet where nobody will bother them, and they act like fucking freaks in the middle of nowhere where no one's around. And that's totally par for the course.
That's what he did, yeah.
That's par for the course with Jedi Masters.
You know, I never put that together. I never really thought that through.
He's not stupid. Rian Johnson's a great director, and he knew exactly what he was doing. He was like, I have to kill the old franchise because people won't let it go.
Yeah.
They won't. It's 45 years later, and people are still screaming out for Luke Skywalker and Han Solo. And those dudes are 70.
Yeah.
Like, we gotta kill it.
We gotta move on.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And the only way to make him move on is to literally take it out at the fucking knees. And so I think the most iconic of that was when you see Luke go for the X-Wing, and the X-Wing's in the water.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And Luke, it looks like he's gonna do exactly what you think he's gonna do. He sets the scene up perfectly. He makes it look like you're gonna get what you want, and he takes it from you again.
Yeah.
And says, no, it isn't about what you want. It's about moving the franchise forward. It's about telling the story, and what you want isn't fucking important to that. Not anymore. You got what you wanted for 40 years. Fuck off. It's time for some new kids to get a Star Wars. Star Wars is for children. It's not for you, fat comic book nerd.
Yeah, you're 45.
Yeah, it's not for you anymore. You're still allowed to enjoy whatever we do, but we're not telling the story for you anymore. It's not for you.
Yeah.
And I think it was a big mistake taking that away from him and giving it back to fucking J.J. Abrams. Because J.J. Abrams set him up to do that, and then the studios were like, dude, profits are tanking. We have to go back to the tried and true formula. We need Luke Skywalker battling somebody. We need the Emperor. We need Darth Vader. We need the whole fucking bleh. And we need to sell action figures.
Well, that's something that I was thinking about when I was watching those Snyder interviews and stuff, is that because on one hand, I'm like, we talked about, like, is that fair? You get to go back and do
no,
that?
The answer is no. It is
No.
not fair at all.
But
But it's 2020. You can do whatever you want.
yeah, but that's right. But on the other hand, it's not a contest between all the directors where there's rules to what's fair and what's not fair. It's actually great.
Yeah, whatever
And-
makes the most money is
No.
the actual answer.
Yeah, but like, I think it's great that, like, coming from a place, like, I've recorded records where you have to answer to the business.
Suits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, hey, we don't think there's a hit on this record, or hey, you got to go back. Hey, this is too long.
Yep.
Hey, blah blah blah. Like, dude, this is my vision, and you're chopping it up or shortening it or stretching it out, and this is my vision. Like, really? And like, to hear somebody that, like, the fans screamed out and said, hey, this is what we want, and they said, you know what? This is a thing that's almost done, and so we can just put just a little bit of money in, and it's a small gamble for them, and the internet's already going nuts about it, so it's not even a gamble for them.
Right. The
So-
internet created this.
So they get to say, okay, you know
Sure.
what? Do what you want, and that dude gets to tell his story without the people upstairs fucking it up.
Well-
I think that's great.
Well, and it's also kind of fucked up that he, like, got to make the movie, and then they said no and undid it. And then now they're like, okay, come on back.
Yeah.
It's good.
They reshot, like, most of the movie again. You know,
There's a conspiracy theory that in the opening scene of Whedon's cut of Justice League, there's a homeless guy, and he has a sign, and it says, like, I'm sorry. And there's a conspiracy theory online that that's Joss Whedon saying, I'm sorry that I had to do this.
Oh, really?
That is like, he's saying to the fans, like, I'm sorry I ruined this movie, basically, because the original cut was good. And I
Wow.
had to fuck it because I'm the person who had to actually listen to the studio
Yeah.
and do what they said. And
That's
they were
crazy.
like, yeah. Which, like, I really, like, I have strong opinions on Batman. I think anybody that knows me in my real life will tell you that that's like a fact. That they're like, just, when Dirk's drinking, don't talk to him about America or Batman because he will just fucking tee off. And I have real strong opinions on Batman, and I thought that they did really well. The only thing they've never gotten right, they've never gotten Batman and Bruce Wayne right at the same time. That's really the biggest problem with all of the movies, is that, like, for example, Keaton's Batman, impeccable.
Yeah.
His Bruce Wayne sucks. Christian Bale, his Bruce Wayne's really good. Batman's meh. And
do you think this new one with Edward from Twilight's going to be?
I think this might be the one because the expectation on Bruce Wayne isn't there yet. I think this is going to be like the year one Batman, where it's like he isn't an established figure in either capacity. He's not established as Bruce Wayne, socialite, millionaire, billionaire, zillionaire, but he's also not established as Batman, like fucking Dark Knight, greatest detective. So it's like he kind of gets some creative license to do whatever he wants without any kind of like overhanging preconceived notions. Because year one Batman the comic's fucking awesome, and it's very different from anything else you've ever read that has to do with Batman. Because it's very much just like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't like crime, and I'm gonna fucking punch it. And like that's his whole shtick, is like, I'm gonna jump off this building and see what happens, and I'm gonna pay $1 million for a car and drive it off a cliff, and I'm gonna hire.
I would do that.
I'm gonna hire a kid's sidekick and paint him yellow so I don't get shot. And like that's very much what the theme of the comic is, and I think that that's what they're gonna do with the Pattinson movie, is give him that freedom, because Batman really only has that freedom for a very short period in his career as a superhero.
Because then he's Batman.
Once you're Batman, it's it. It's over. And also once you're Bruce Wayne, like an established figure in society in Gotham, it's over there too, because once people have an expectation, you have to live up to that in some capacity, or you have to deal with that fallout of not living up to that expectation. And so there's a very short period of Batman's career where he actually can be just whatever the fuck he wants, and that year one period is it, and it's awesome because it's like angry, pissed off teenager Batman, where he's just like, fuck you, I'm gonna break your arm because I can. Kiss my ass and suck my dick.
Everyone, yes.
That's my favorite line of that whole fucking show. I'm the man who has the ball, and I'm the one who can throw it faster than fuck.
Yep.
And that
I really wish that you I want to get the book on tape. They should sell Eastbound and Down. Kenny
the
Powers.
actual I'm fucking in, you're fucking out tape.
Yeah. If they sold that,
I'd buy it in a heartbeat. God damn, that's a good idea. I don't know how they didn't do that as a special edition for the fucking DVDs, because they should have.
You just included a disc,
just a tape that's I'm fucking in and you're fucking out, narrated by Kenny Powers.
By Kenny Powers.
God, that's good.
Well, so what's your answer on this? And then so we've talked about the Snyder cut, and then we've talked about
Lucas has like executive authority too, because like he it's strange because like Lucas has like American government powers in Star Wars, where it's like there's a like 3-branch government governing body, and he's the president. So it's like if the Senate and the Congress disagree, then George Lucas comes in and says, fuck you, do it this way.
Yeah.
And that's very similar to the presidential power, where it's like if the Senate and the Congress can't come to an agreement, then the president's job is to say, fuck you, do it my way.
Didn't you say Kathleen Kennedy resigned?
She resigned because of this. Yeah, absolutely. As a direct. So what happened was there was the shot that was, or the cut that was used for the movie. Then there was the Lucas cut. And those were both screen tested, and what is the other word called? Think tanked, or what's it do when they put
it's not a litmus
focus
test.
group?
Focus group, yeah.
So those were all focus groups, and the focus groups liked the Lucas cut more,
yeah.
Obviously, because fucking duh, it's Lucas.
I heard he screened it at Skywalker Ranch, and some of the top dogs saw it, and they're like,
well, that's what happened.
Why did this happen? Oh, Kathleen Kennedy didn't want.
That's exactly what happened. Afterwards, he came in and was like, I'll show my cut at my house because I can do whatever the fuck I want because I'm the president. And so he comes in and does whatever he wants. He shows all these bigwigs the actual footage of his cut, and they're so fucking mad that this isn't the cut that went to theaters, that they fired Kathleen, or they forced her to resign.
Yeah.
They made her quit. So I'm going to say...
There was also some political things going on. I heard that there was whispers that like Favreau, she was losing control. Like Favreau was getting, like Jon Favreau, he can't screw up. Like
No,
everything he touches
miss.
is gold. And so like he's doing so good with the Mandalorian, and then Kathleen Kennedy would try to change something,
and he would just say fuck you now.
No, then the big dogs would say, "Oh, we'll just go with what Jon Favreau,
says because he's a fucking genius. So she can do no wrong."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I think she probably was. Yeah, I think she was probably getting tired of the politics in there anyway, and said, "You know what? F you guys, I'm out."
No, I think really what happened was that they saw this cut and Lucas, of course, comes in and it's like, "I'm George Lucas. Do what I fucking say," and they were like, obviously, like think about how much money they missed out on and all the negative press that they got. And all the action figures that they didn't sell, because that's all Star Wars really gives a fuck about. If you ever look at the history of Star Wars about like why Jar Jar Binks wasn't the real bad guy of the early episodes, it's because he wouldn't sell toys. You're like, you can't turn the kid's favorite character into the bad guy. We won't sell any action figures. Of course. You can't fucking do that. Like, what are you talking about? It's like if you said Yoda's the bad guy. You know how many Yoda figures we've sold? A fucking billion. Dude, Chewbacca can't be the bad guy. He's Chewbacca. Everybody loves him. So it's like, of course some fucking suits come out, which all of that's bullshit. Those people shouldn't have any influence in how the movie's made in reality. But that's just the way it is. Yeah. And Lucas knows the game, and I think he fucking hornswoggled her and was like, hey, I'll show the fucking real cut to the people that need to see it. He House of Cards'd her ass and was like, I'll show the important people this in passing, not even saying anything about it, just like, hey, you guys should see my cut. You never saw it, right? You never saw it because Kathleen never showed it to you. You guys should see my cut. I am the guy that made Star Wars, you know. I invented the fucking genre. So maybe you guys would care to see the one that I made. And then the guys are like, oh, what? Private screening at George Lucas's house? Yeah, fuck. What? Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Let's go.
And then they go, and the movie that they get is fucking leaps and bounds different from this garbage that they got in the theaters.
Yeah, I think she was supposed to have I think Anakin's Force Ghost is supposed to show up.
Right
after she kills. Right after she thinks she kills Chewbacca.
Oh,
she's upset. She's really upset, and all of a sudden he shows up. Yeah.
Yeah, and when the ghost of Han Solo shows up to talk to Kylo Ren, it's supposed to be Ghost of Han Solo, Ghost of Leia, and Ghost of Anakin all together. Yeah. And Luke Skywalker force projecting as well. Yeah. So it's like, that's really the thing that everybody had beef with, was there was no on-screen reunion of the original cast. They all existed in the movie, but they were never together. Yeah. And not all together. And so it was just like, that's what everybody hated.
And the strain from doing that whole trick would have killed, it would have been what killed Princess Leia. Instead of her just like, she got so upset she died. It was kind of weird. Right. It was like, oh, she just got tired.
Got tired from being old.
Yeah, that's
just like, I always thought that was too realistic. Because that's what happens in real life. You get tired of being old and then you die.
Well, so
let's end on a depressing
So we're going to end, actually, so... I made this little graphic I forgot to put up. Who would win? Who do you think is going to win?
My pick is Lucas because he got somebody fucking shit canned over it. And instead, Zack Snyder got a fucking $30 million deal, and Lucas got his fucking baby back ribs and fired the bitch that ruined it. So.
And I'm going to go with Snyder because I saw that interview, and I think that dude has got his stuff together.
And if you guys disagree with either of us, then you can comment and like and subscribe.
That's right. Comment, like, subscribe.
Share. Tell your friends.
Do all this
stuff. Bitch about it on the internet like you're supposed to, like everybody else does.
That's right.
So like those bitches yelling at the guy or the gal from The Mandalorian. You can go whine about it on the internet.
Gina, we got your back.
We got you, baby.
We got
all day, all long.
All right. Well, this is another episode of the Blackshirt Podcast.
That's it. Give me that motherfucking track, baby.
That's right. We will see you guys soon.
It's episode 6 coming soon. Yes, to a theater near you, but not really. Goodbye.
Later.
Bye. Oh, I gotta pee so bad.